All right, hello there. We're going to talk about an FA that we took the second trimester labeled NBT1B. Once again, NBT1B. The I can statement associated with this FA is I can recognize relationships between digits in multi-digit numbers by powers of 10. So once again, we're going to be dealing with powers of 10. However, we're going to be dealing with them associated with decimals this time and not whole numbers like we did the first trimester. So the first question on this FA is, what is the relationship between the value of the 2's in this number? So we're just comparing the values of the 2's in one number. And if you remember when we talked about this, we introduced a concept called camel humps. Now you can talk about that or call it whatever you like, but I think camel humps made it a little bit easier for the kids to remember. So we're going to write this number down here, 541 and 252 thousandths. And we want to compare the 2's in this number. So now I'm comparing the 2's. I start with either one of the 2's, and I'll start with this one right here in the thousands. And I'm going to count place values using camel humps. 1, 2. Now, once again, I could go either way. I could start with the tenths also. 1, 2. And the number of camel humps, 1, 2, 1, 2, will tell me what the exponent is with the power of 10. And in this case, since there's two camel humps, that's 10 to the second power, which is 100. And that helps me determine the difference in values of the 2's in this number. So now I go to the next step, and let's say I pick the 2 in the thousandths place value. Okay, the 2 in the thousandths place value is 100 times less than the 2 in the tenths place value. Once again, the 2 in the thousandths place value is 100 times less than the 2 in the tenths place value. Now I can always go this backwards the other way, and I could say the 2 in the tenths place value is 100 times greater than the 2 in the thousandths place value. Okay, so let's practice with another number down here. Let's say I have 63 and 400 and let's say 413 thousandths. 63 and 413 thousandths. So what I want to do is I want to compare the 3's in this number. So as I said, I want to do the camel humps, and I want to jump place values and count the camel humps. So I'm going to start with the thousandths place value, and I have 1, 2, 3. And once again, it doesn't matter which way I go. If I start down here, I have 1, 2, 3. I have 3 humps, or I have 3 humps. It doesn't matter which place value I start with. Now remember, the humps tells me what the exponent is in the power of 10. Okay, so in this case, it's 10 to the third, or 1,000. Remember, the exponent tells me how many zeros I have. All right, so here's how I would say this then. I would say the 3 in the ones place value is 1,000 times greater than the 3 in the thousandths place value. Or I could reverse it like the one above, and I could say the 3 in the thousandths place value is 1,000 times less than the 3 in the ones place value. Hopefully that will help you study for number 1 when we have our common assessment in the second trimester. And once again, that was NBT1B, question number 1. Now I would go to question number 2. And it says, how many times greater is the value of the digit 5 in 583 and 700ths than the value of the digit 5 in 362 and 501 thousandths? Now this is a little different because we're comparing two different numbers. And if you remember when we talked about how to compare two different numbers, we talk about lining up the decimals. And we're going to be doing that a lot when we add or subtract decimals. Also, we line up the decimals. Okay, so I'm going to write these two numbers again, lining up the decimals. 583 and 700ths, 362 and 501 thousandths. And I like to have my place values instead of leaving them blank, so I'm going to put a 0 there. Remember, I can add as many zeros as I would like to the end of a number, okay, or to the beginning of a number. and it does not change the value of that number. But if you notice how I wrote these numbers here, the decimals are lined up. So now I want to compare place values, and I do the same thing as I would with the camels. This is the 5, this is the 5. I want to compare those two place values. So I do my camel humps, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Or I can go this way, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So that tells me what the exponent is, and that means it's 10 to the third power. And remember, the exponent tells me how many zeros here with powers of 10. So that is 1,000. So now I just want to make sure that I say this correctly. And I want to say that the 5 in the hundreds place value is 1,000 times greater than the 5 in the tenths place value. Once again, the 5 in the hundredths place value is 1,000 times greater than the 5 in the tenths place value. So if you look at your key there, the answer would have been C to have the correct answer. Now, once again, I'll give another example here. If I want to compare 32 and 14 hundredths to, let's say, 4 and 7 hundredths, I line the decimals up, which is what I did here. I want to compare the 4s, so I want to do my camel humps, 1, 2, 1, 2, or I can go this way, 1, 2, 1, 2, and that tells me the exponent, so that's 10 to the second power, okay? So that means that that equals 100, because the exponent tells me how many zeros I have in the powers of 10. So the 4 in the ones place value is 100 times greater than the 4 in the hundredths place value. And once again, those are some examples that should help you and guide you through NBT1B. Thanks.